Yeah. So now this conference, this session is being recorded. So I
Okay.
hopefully, yeah. So what I expect now, I hope if I ask anything, I will be able to hear back you at least few words. And same is with you.
Yeah.
What my understanding is, at least you can understand what I am saying, though not very properly, not 100%, but at least you can understand what I am saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So this unit is about facilitating change in health and social care. So as we have already said, that change should be for the sake of better, for the sake of improvement. Sometimes we see the change around us, anywhere, any organization, any service that we are using, but that change we feel as a service user that that change is just meant just to be a change. It's not benefiting, it's not helping the service users a lot. So it's just the change is there just for change. Maybe the managers, maybe the bosses, they just want to have the credit that they have upgraded that thing, they have changed that system. They just want to have, just want to see their ideas, what they think about anything practically. So sometimes it happens that we as a service user, we as a worker are not happy with that change. We do not find that change suitable or quite helpful. So sometimes that is quite annoying and we just feel that this change is there just for sake of change. So as this unit is about facilitating change in health and social care, as we have said, I asked you one thing, but honestly, I could not understand what was your reply. So there have been so many overhauling or shaking of the health and social care system here in this country. Few things, there are few changing that proved quite helpful. There are few changing that are not much helpful. They are not liked by the community. They are not liked by the service users, even the service providers. So there are different things. So the change, as it is, there is a saying, it is said that there is nothing permanent except change. The change is the only thing that is permanent in this world. So a change is a process, as if we say, of transitioning from a current situation to a desired situation or desired future condition. If we want to change anything, we change it the way we want to see anything, the way we want to look at the things, the way we want to see the things, like the setting in our living room. We just change the position of our sofas, our tables, the way we just, because when we look at the change, it's pleasing. It pleases us. We are happy to look at the things. So the change is a transition from a current situation to a desired future condition. So the change is not always, as I have already said, the change is not always, people are not always happy with the change. And there are some fears or risks that are also associated with change. Sometimes if there is any change, or if we are working in any organization and we are told, we are advised, we are told by our manager or our boss that these things are going to change. Sometimes we are afraid of the thing that we are going to lose our comfort area, our comfort zone. How we will cope with the new situation, new upcomings, new change. So the change is always is not welcomed, or most of the time, change in any way of the organization works or how the social care system works. So the change sometimes it brings with it its fear. So whether we like change or not, we are all caught up in a never-ending cycle of change in our organizations. So this is true. Some people welcome change and enjoy the uncertainty it often brings, thinking that it offers new challenges and opportunities at work. So different people think in different ways. Other people are cautious about change. They have the fear that something valued will be altered or lost, or that risk brings unnecessary stress. So they are afraid of this stress, the risks that are associated with change. So they do not like that their status quo is changed. In health and care, social services are essentially about people, both those who need to use services and those who provide services. People are most of the time always sensitive to the impact of change. As we have said that there is nothing permanent in this world except change. So one of the reasons why change seems to be constant is that there are many potential stimuli for change, like there are these stimuli, the motives of change, the stimuli of change. There are different kind of stimuli. There are different, or these stimuli, in other words, that is used in the booklet is the factors. These stimuli are factors. There are many potential stimuli or factors that are change drivers, that drive change. These stimuli or these factors for change could be internal or they could be external. These stimuli for change may come from inside an organization, but it is more usual, these stimuli, these factors, it's more usual that they come from outside. Sometimes, most of the time, the external pressures, the external agencies, the external stakeholders, the funding agencies, they have their own pressures, and the change in the working of an organization, the behavior of an organization is carried out just to subside that pressure. So mostly these drivers or these factors, they come from outside. A change initiated within the organization is often a response to a force outside the organization that triggered the change. There are different kinds of factors. There are different, as we have said here, there are different kinds of factors that are associated, that act as a driver of change. They are the reason of bringing the change in the legislation, the charters of organization, the organization behavior, the working of the organization. So there are different kinds of factors. So one by one, we will be looking at these factors, and that will make up our learning outcome 1 of this unit 5.17. So first factor that we will be looking at is legislation, very important thing, especially in health and social care. We will look at legislation, policies, use of public funds. So this fact, as I have just said, that the one main driver of change is government legislation and policies. Many aspects of health and social care are subject to legislation. New legal requirements emerge constantly as governments seek to improve health and social care, often through introduction of systems to set standards and to control or modify service provision. For example, the Health and Safety, if we talk about one of the legislation, like the Health and Safety Act at Work of 74, this act was enacted because of increasing numbers of accidents and incidents that happened in the past related to work. So the main purpose of this act was to protect and minimize people from harm. This act placed a general duty on employers to ensure health, safety, and welfare of all employees as far as is reasonably practical. This act, we are talking about Safety Act, this legislation situates an impact not only on healthcare industry, but all kinds of work. That's why until now, it has expanded its scope, clarified responsibilities, and responded to new circumstances as they have arisen without changing the overall principles of the original Act. So legislation also affects service provision through legislation relating to employment. In health and safety, use of public funds, and through related services including education and housing. For example, if we give for example, we take from last few years Tory's government. For example, recently the government commenced key modification which affect the eligibility of all non-EU workers who want to work in the UK. Those individuals must earn a minimum number of points. So these are the, for example, legislations in health and social care. The new rules state the less points will be given for employees earning lower salaries in UK, and no points will be allocated to those who are paid less than £20,000 per year. In comparison to the old rules that gave a minimum points for those workers that are having £17,000 of salary per year. So that means the employer will have to pay new workers at least £20,000 a year. In addition, the care providers were enormously concerned about the present government removing the senior carers from shortage status because it might cause damage on the quality of care and in the business. So if this was about the legislation, so one factor that as a driver in mainly these are legislations, different kinds of provisions, legislations. In the light of those legislations, the working of health and social care system changes. One other very important in this era, in this period, is technology. For example, the technology, internet, some other gadgets, modern IT things, they are being used in health and social care services in health and social care system. For example, use of emails or use of new technology, new machinery, new gadgets, instruments. So all these new innovations in technology, in IT, that is also a main driver of change, a main factor of change in health and social care sector, in health and social care settings. New technology, under technology, so many things can be put under besides just use of internet. There are so many new things that are being used in hospitals, in care centers, in care homes, in health and social care settings. So the new technology is also a reason why there is a change in healthcare settings. One great example is the development of internet. Internet changed the way of sending information to the multidisciplinary team through email, making it easier for senior staff to send and receive relevant information from GPs and other professionals and vice versa, regarding service users' condition while promoting privacy and confidentiality. This is a very common thing when we visit our GP. If the GP refers us to any specialist, so we receive an appointment, a letter in the post, but then our GP, our doctor, they send that invitation or that appointment to the relevant practitioner, to the relevant specialist through internet. So things are now interrelated. The use of new technology, the use of internet has made the service provision of a standard so easy, and we are all aware of that. We are all being a user of health and social care service ourselves. We are aware of the benefits and the quickness and the benefits that are associated with the use of new technology. So this use of technology, use of internet, it has also changed our ways of using records and libraries. Now the staff in health and care services have access to an increasing range of information that is available to practitioners in health and social care. Service users expect to make use of evidence in making decisions, and database of best practice models are increasingly available. For example, if we talk about the relatives and family, friends and relatives of the service users, we can say that their relatives, friends and family members, even if they are far away, so they can, with the use of internet, use of technology, they can keep themselves updated about the health issues of their family member or friend or family. With the use of internet, use of this technology, distance is not a big deal anymore. For relatives and service users who have personal computers, personal access laptops, they can make conversations and see each other with the use of webcam and chat rooms through the internet. No, we can make appointments online. We can cancel appointments online. Sometimes we receive SMS about our appointment. We receive emails regarding our appointments. We can respond to the emails that we receive. So all the innovations in technology, all these things, if I say that they have changed the shape of health services, so it won't be much wrong. The use of new machines, gadgets, instruments, as we are all aware of, whenever we visit any hospital or any health and social care setting, we see the use of new and modern technologies, modern things. All these things, they are important not only in improving the quality of health and social care, but these services are important in keeping the correct, accurate, up-to-date record of the information of the service users, of the patients. So there are less chances of errors or mistakes. So after technology, if we look at, these new, as we're talking about new technology and new machinery and new gadgets or instruments. So this provision of high quality health and social care service is also influenced by the use of new developments in technology, in equipment, in instruments. For example, if we take the example of kidney preserving equipment. This is a new machine that can keep the detached kidneys in its best form. It stores, for this is just one example I am giving. So this machine, it stores healthy kidneys after they are removed from the donor before being transplanted into the recipient. This time lapse between the transplantation is a critical period for ensuring that the organ does not deteriorate and become unusable. Unlike before, that the doctors, the health practitioners, they rely on ice to conserve the kidney. The new equipment maintains the organ in a fluid rich in nutrients and oxygen, which significantly extends the storage period. For the new equipment, it does change the old method to a new way that allows hope for more patients to have successful kidney transplants. In care home settings, the acquisition of new equipment like, for example, the air pressure mattress is indispensable equipment for anyone at high risk of developing pressure ulcers or who have existing pressure ulcers. The alternating pressure of the mattress depends on the weight of the service user, allowing relief on a regular basis and trim down the number of times a person needs to be turned, greatly enhancing the comfort of the very poorly or terminally ill people. So these are just few examples. Kidney or this air pressure mattress, these are just two examples. But being service users, me, myself, you yourself are aware of, we can quote so many different examples. New innovations in equipment that that have made the life of service users or those patients, those people who are terminally ill, their time on the bed has been made easier. So after legislation, technology, one other big factor that acts as a driver of change are the economic factors. Economy, money, public funds, obviously they play a key role whenever any policy, any legislation, any policy is thought about, is enacted. So how much public fund or money is available, how much money can be allocated to this sector, that makes a major reason of making new policies and bringing new change in any organization and in health and social care as well. So the economic sectors, they are also a big driver of change in health and social care. These factors include the general prosperity of the country and its neighborhoods, the rate of unemployment, areas of poverty, the level of inflation and exchange rates in relationships involving other countries and currencies. The state of the economy affects the level of demand for goods and services, the prosperity of communities, and the availability and cost of raw materials and labor. The economy tends to move in cycles, but these are not easy to predict. All services, whether public services, private services, or charity provision, are affected by changes in the economy. Economic sectors are big change. At present, there are lots of changes in the health and social care sector due to the recent financial crisis that affects the economy of our country, United Kingdom. As a result, the coalition government, the present, have wasted no time to save money in reshaping parts of the health service, NHS. So the popular NHS direct services will now are substituted with cheaper alternatives. So what are the plans? Under the government plans, some strategic health authorities and hundreds of primary care trusts are to be abolished, affecting thousands of employees and service users. Examples of recent cost-cutting measures cited by professionals are hospital bed closures, for example, hospital bed closures, pressure to give patients cheaper, slow-acting drugs, costs to occupational health support, and reductions in community health services. Furthermore, according to a study, it makes known that for the most part of job losses, it involved frontline staff as patient services are withdrawn. Along with mounting numbers of patients are being deprived of treatment for conditions such as loss of sight, arthritis, and infertility, as NHS increasingly rations healthcare in order to save money. But the spending cuts done by the government does not only affect the health and social care sector, but the lives of Britons as a whole. These cuts, due to the economic crisis, they affect the sick, the disabled, and Britain's poorest families. Among the biggest cuts are, if we give the examples, among the biggest cuts are only allowing claimants to have the replacement for incapacity benefit, the employment and support allowance for 1 year, cutting disability allowance for those people in care, cutting council tax benefit by 10%, reductions in the help given for childcare to working families, and slashing housing benefits for the under 35s by paying them the shared room rate instead of enough to live on their own. So these are different, these economic factors. These things, they affect the courts, as everybody is talking about the courts that we are having in, especially in health and social care. So these courts, we are not blaming the government because they plan the policies, they plan the facilities, looking at the amount of money, amount of funds that they have in their hands. So less amount of funds, less amount of money means slow flow of money towards the health and social care. So everyone talks about the courts, the courts. They have, we have our own view, and the government and the policymakers, they have their own view. So the economy, this is, there is, I think that there is no a contradiction to this. The economy is under crisis, and there is a financial crisis. So to cope with the situation, there are cuts. Government wants to save money, and there are impacts on the service users. So all these big cuts, the economic sectors, the allocation of money, the allocation of public funds, is a big driver, a big factor of change in health and social care settings, in health and social care policies. So these are various factors that we looked at. Other thing that you can include here is the availability of trained staff, trained professionals, trained staff, availability of specialists in different fields. It also affects the provision. It's also a big driver, a big change. Sometimes, most of the times in HS, they have to recruit these health professionals from outside England, outside UK. So all these availability of public funds, technology, courts, availability of professionals, all these are drivers of change, change in policy, change in service provision. So you can think about this is just the few ones. You can think about few more drivers of change in health and social care. Few examples I have given, and few examples you can look for yourself. What could else be the driver of a change, factor of change in health and social care? So, hello.
Hello? Yeah, that's right.
I thought I have lost connection.
No, I'm still here. Just I'm only catching the odd word or two, so I'm trying to read. Can you actually hear me?
I can barely hear you, but I can understand what you are saying.
I know recording it. I have a real trouble trying. Some of the factors of change I was going to look at as well was about the demographics, about our ageing population and how that's going to change as well.
Yeah, I could just understand you said demography and age. I just could pick up two words. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So what do you think that how demography could be a factor, a driver?
Yeah, because of the aging population we have.
Yeah.
An influence on key legislation, and with the Care Act 2014, you know, as you quite rightly say about the direct payments, about people coming to care, about the assessing their needs. So that piece of legislation is having impact on care services at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was thinking, with the ageing population, finally go into residential services or hospital, something like that, their needs are going to be more complex. That's going to impact on the workforce that we currently provide.
True.
Yeah, I was just thinking because it impacts, won't it? Because our care staff that we need to provide are going to have to have more complex training to deal with complex care needs that we will be in the future. I think, you know, we've got dementia care because people are living longer. We've got more people that
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, the key factors to drop, because the government obviously would need to have a look at the education and have a look at how we're going to deal with those demands in the future.
Yeah, it's just a pick up, yeah. Yeah, but I could pick up few words that I totally agree. So when you are writing you can note it down with yourself. I will be sending you the slides. I just noted down the bullet points. These are just the points, but you can always elaborate on these points. So whatever, because I will be sending over to you the slides. So these are just the suggestive drivers, the factors of change, things that you said. If you note it down with yourself, so when you will start writing, you will be writing out for the assignment. These things will help you because we all understand being adults. Obviously, we are having our employment, we are having jobs, we are having family, we are having so many other things in life. That
our workforce is going to change, but also because people are living a lot
longer.
Because people are living a lot longer now due to medical advancements and stuff like that. We've also, we're at the moment, is actually going to be bigger than our working population. So we're going to have an imbalance there, aren't we?
Yeah, true. This is what I'm saying. You note it down with yourself. So when you are writing, you may not forget these points.
Yeah.
Yes. So as you had said, like the dementia, or we are having more and more people coming up with different kinds of psychological or mental problems, like one is dementia. So when these kind of things they start coming up, so as you have yourself mentioned that the training even to the health professionals, it is going to be more stringent and more complex and more strenuous because now different kind of problems they are coming up. Like now as just the Brexit things are just around. No, these are political things, but obviously it is going to affect us. It is going to affect the policies. It is going to affect the availability of funds. So these things, at the end of the day, are going to affect us, the service users. So these are the things that you note down with yourself. So when the time comes for writing up the assignment, so you have few points before you and you can elaborate on those points.
Yeah.
Yes. So this was
with regards to learning outcome 1.2, assess the challenge that key to change social care. Would things like the resistance to change, that would be one of the, because some organisations don't want to change because of the financial implication that may have for them or their staffing implication and stuff like that. But also it's about incorporating some changes in existing services. Some services may not have the capacity to successfully make some of the changes that the government are suggesting. The cut in funds. I mean, we're seeing a new chips about the new levy that's coming in for organisations and how they're going to pay for those. You know, with sort of those kind of thing as well that will have an impact.
Yes. Yeah, true. So this is one of the challenge, as you have mentioned. These are the challenges. One is the financial constraints, as you have said. Other could be the training of the staff. Staff needs to be trained for the purpose. The employers are the people who invest the money. The employers, they may think about the investment of the money, the financial reasons, or it could be other reasons like they have to put staff on training rather putting the staff for service of the service users. So there would be less people or less person available to serve the service users because some of the staff will be on training, that batch will come back, then the other staff will go on training. So the money that would be a cost of the training, that could be a challenge. Then other challenge would be the workers in health and social care. As uh, earlier we said, that change sometimes is not always welcomed. People are
Yes.
not ready to lose their comfort zone because when we are used of doing one thing each day, that becomes our habit, and we develop a kind of comfort zone around that. So people are not ready to lose their comfort zone. They are not ready to come out of their comfort zone and learn and just accept the challenge. So there are different kinds of challenges: financial training, then resistance to change, then the fear associated with change. Sometimes it happens that the people in like in health and social care services, not all people, or and I just want to say that not all people are very good at IT skills, or not all people are ready to accept the change. So the people, they resist the change with the view that they find themselves that they are unable to cope with the change, and that might result in the loss of job, loss of their employment. So they resist the change. So these are sometimes the prejudice amongst the staff members. It's also a reason, also a challenge, and it's a more challenge for the managers to implement a change than the lower staff, because the managers, they need to ensure that they can meet the expected outcomes of that change. So this is a big change, a big task for the managers as well, that they can put all the working staff is in alignment to the new change. So the potential benefits could be gained, or the potential outcomes could be seen and could be met. So there are different kinds of challenges that whenever a new change is brought into action, there are different kinds of challenges, different kinds of difficulties or problems. A change is not always welcomed. It's not always something one, two, three. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's quite, I myself find this unit quite interesting.
Right. Where you gone?
Sometimes it's just silence, and I assumed that I had lost the connection. But again, I am able to hear one or two words of yours. So anyhow, Denise, this was about the learning outcome one. And what I do is after finishing off with you, after the signing off from here, so quickly I will send you my PowerPoints. These are just the bullet points. These are just the points, but I am sure they are going to help you when you are writing for this one.
Okay.
So I'm also sending you this PDF stuff as well. That is for me, for you as well. Is that okay?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Hang on.
Oh. Okay, Denison. Is there anything else?
No, I think that's it. I think I'll question, email you or text you. So I think that might be better because it's quite difficult to hear you at the moment.
Same is here, same is with me.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna try next week and see if I can tap into a different device. I've used my laptop and I've used my phone and I'm still having problems hearing you. So I'm not quite sure.
I think the phone is better. Phone should be better. So were you having the same problem with Mr. Raman Singh as well?
Yes, I did. I did have the same problem. But I used my laptop then and I thought it was that, but I've gone on to a different device that's up-to-date software and at the moment
Have you tried?
we're still having a problem.
Have you tried your mobile phone?
Yes, I'm on my mobile phone at the moment and we're still having a problem because I've tried. I've got a laptop, desktop, an iPad, and a phone. So I don't know if it's in my internet server or I don't know. But do you have problems with anybody else, or is it just me?
No, Dennis, it's just with you. Unfortunately, it's with you. Yeah, because
I wonder if it's my signal or my internet.
No, yeah, this is what I was going to say.
My house is a bit funny. Yeah. My house is a bit funny where I'm located.
Sorry.
Hello?
Yes. No, I was saying that I am having other learners, but it goes quite smooth and fine. But this is the problem with your. There is something with your internet.
Yeah, I mean I'm on
broadband.
Virgin. Yeah, I'm on broadband Virgin on speed farm.
No, it's not.
I
Mr. Ramanjit was telling me something. It's about it's about the megabytes that you are having on the broadband. It's not the service provider. It's something because you sometimes the normal router that we are having at home. It's a normal router that gives us the Wi-Fi signal. Then the other routers they are available with more megabytes. So maybe that is the reason. I'm unsure. I'm just saying this, but maybe that is the reason. But I will discuss this with Mr.
I don't know
as well.
Unless it's my signal where I live in St Albans. I mean, sometimes the signal can be a bit funny, but we are on Virgin broadband, so we're on. And we've got the hyper speed one, so we've just upgraded it. So I think maybe the problem. So we're not broadband. Still,
yes. So that is upgraded one. Then there should not be any problem, as your strengths are the faster routes, faster routers. Yeah, there should not be any problem.
I've got a finder. Yeah. So. Yeah, so but I'll see if I can try and sort it out. I don't know what the issue is really.
I'm not very good at these things myself.
No, but it can get a bit frustrating because I desperately want to hear what you're but it's difficult because I can, like you saying, I can catch half of the words that are being said. So that's
No, same is with me because I have a work, I dedicated this hour, I just put myself for this hour, dedicated this hour for this work, for this session. So if we are not meeting the outcomes, not the learning outcomes, I mean, there are other outcomes that I should be clear to you and you should be clear to me. What I am saying, it should be understandable, and what you are telling me, I must catch it up. If this one is not working, obviously you have dedicated this hour for this work. I have dedicated my time, my this time for this thing. So it should not go that way. It should be sorted out. This is what I would say, and I will also confirm with Mr. Ramanjit Singh as well, because with other learners it goes quite fine and smooth. There's no problem. But it is occurring with you. I just could catch up just few words of your conversation, whatever you were saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, is there any ebooks or anything on the?
Yeah, as far as the ebooks are concerned, so what happens that Mr. Singh, Ramanjit Singh, so he goes as being the director of all course. So he buys the books that are relevant and that are prescribed by the awarding body. So he told me that he has put few books there, I mean online books. Yeah.
The learning platform, okay. No problem.
Yeah. So thank you very, very much, Denise. Thanks for your time. Thanks for being with me. And thanks for so much being patient.
And I'll speak to you next
week, Wednesday, same time.
Next week, yeah. And we're learning outcome 2 next week.
2, yes. We will be at that point.
Lovely.
Yes.
Lovely.
my try is because learning outcome 2 is divided into 4 points. I try my best that I could cover all these points, or at least I can cover half of that, or my best try would be that I could cover all these points, because my aim is that you can finish off with your units as quickly as possible. So you do the your assignments and you are off with the course. This is my aim.
How long is the course? Is it a year or 2 year?
You asked, it's 1 year or 2 years?
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Is the course, is it 1 year course?
Yes.
It is. It was 1 year or 2 year. Some 5 to 2 year courses, aren't they?
Yeah, so this is going to be 1 year. So as for I was discussing your units and your course with Mr. Ramanjit a few days back. So as far as, because I joined you late and he was engaged with you. So what he has told me, you are left now with the one unit. You finished off 5.18. We have covered 5.17. We are just doing now, and I think 3 units you have already covered with Mr. Singh.
How many units with him? I covered. He did one function and 1 session on the research. And the rest of the sessions with yourself.
Okay. So you did research unit with him and 1 more unit with him.
Communication, managing
communication. Okay.
Yeah.
So 2 those two units and 2 with me. Altogether, these are 4 units.
Yeah.
I will check with Mr. Ramanjit Singh, and then I will be able to tell you anything next Wednesday.
Yeah, I only did one session with him on communication, though.
Okay.
So I've only had sessions with him, and the rest have been with you. So I don't think he does. You do each learning outcome, don't you? Which is helpful, because then we can cover more depth. But I think the communication one, I'm not sure. I think he just done a little unit.
Yeah, so what you do, you check your own stuff and look at the learning outcomes of communication unit, and then note it down with yourself, and then next time you can tell me that which learning outcomes you haven't covered with Mr. Ramanjit Singh. So I will cover those learning outcomes with you later. Then after finishing off with this unit, then I will cover those learning outcomes with you.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what have you done. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah. You just check with yourself, and then you just note me down. I will note it down with myself about the communication unit, because that is a mandatory unit. So I need to know that you have covered all the learning outcomes or not. If you haven't, because check yourself, if you haven't covered all the learning outcomes of communication, then you just tell me, and after this unit, I will be covering those ones with you as well.
Lovely. That's good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dennis. Thanks for your time. Thanks for everything and sharing. And hopefully I will see you next. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll speak to you next week.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay, take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.